Please give a moment of silence as Life Scout Nikki Strassi from Troop 17 plays the national anthem. Please rise. Begun and is making its way down Milburn Avenue now.
The 2019 Memorial Parade Grand Marshal is Jake Dalton. Jake is a longtime resident of Milburn Township and lives in the house his grandfather purchased in 1913. A Milburn High School graduate, Jake enlisted in the Navy in 1943. There, he served as an aviation ordnanceman and achieved the rank of third-class petty officer. He served in the South Pacific during World War II. After his military career, Jake attended Seton Hall University and started a career at Federal Pacific, was married to Milburn resident Ruth Drummond, and has 4 children and 10 grandchildren. With Jake this morning is American Legion Post 140. This year celebrates the 100th anniversary of the American Legion as the nation's largest wartime veterans service organization committed to mentoring youth and sponsorship of wholesome programs in our communities, advocating patriotism and honor, promoting strong national security and continued devotion to our fellow servicemen and veterans. Our local American Legion post here in Milburn is located on Main Street and is named after Guy Bosworth. Guy served in World War I after enlisting in the Army and was on a troop transport ship called the Antilles. On the Antilles' third trip home from Europe, it was lost to a torpedo attack, and 11 men, including Mr. Bosworth, lost their lives. It's the many men and women like Mr. Bosworth that we honor today and remember for their service and their ultimate sacrifice. Please join me in giving the members of Guy R. Bosworth American Legion Post 140 a round of applause. Coming up behind the Legion Post 140, we are pleased to have Navy sailors. Please give a round of applause to the men and women of the United States Navy and the officers from the United States Navy ship Burlington. These Navy sailors are led by Milburn Township Resident Commander Jonathan Sim and Milburn Township Resident Third Mate Kevin Ruane. These officers and sailors are attached to the Military Sea Lift Command headquartered in Norfolk, Virginia. The mission of the Military Sea Lift Command is to provide combat logistics support around the world to the U.S. Naval Fleet and partner forces. Marching today are Commander Jonathan Sim, Lieutenant Andy Owusu, Ensign Aaron Donlin, IT-3 Christopher Campos, IT-2 Russell Coleman, IT-2 Mitchell Gonzalez, Operations Specialist Seaman Stephanie Lavecchio, Master at Arms Stephen Meritz, Hospital Corpsman Stephen Duran, IT-2 Victoria Uilala, Yeoman Samantha Gutierrez, IS-1 Solaris Braselli, Information Specialist, and Midshipman Christopher Newman, Third Officer Kevin Ruane. Marching in today's parade are Mayor Diane Thal-Eglow and Deputy Mayor Jackie Benjamin Lieberberg of the Milburn Township Committee. The Milburn Township Committee is the governing body for the township. The committee is made up of 5 committee members who are responsible for the policy and direction of our fine community. Also, walking in today's parade alongside Mayor Eglow and Deputy Mayor Lieberberg, we are pleased to have United States Congressman Tom Malinowski representing the 7th District of New Jersey, which includes the residents of Milburn Township. Democratic Committee. The Short Hills Democratic Committee is comprised of 32 elected members representing the 16 election districts in our community. The goal of the committee is to elect Democrats to local and state and federal offices. Annette Romano is in her 5th year as chairwoman, and Michael Bolt is serving his 1st year as vice chairman. Next up is the Essex County Emerald Society Pipes and Drums. In October 1980, the Essex County Police and Fire Emerald Society formed its pipe band after the death of one of its own, firefighter Harry Halpin of the Newark Fire Department. The mission of the Milburn Police Department is to protect the lives, the property, and the rights of all people. Today, the police department is led by Chief Brian Gilfetter, the Honor Guard led by Sergeant Michael Fatale. These are the men and women that protect our daily lives. Proudly marching in today's parade are players from the Milburn Short Hills Youth Baseball League. The league was founded in 1952 and serves over 600 of our youth. The players are from each of the league's 8 chains, which include Blue Jays, Cardinals, Eagles, Falcons, Hawks, Orioles, Ravens, and Sparrows. As Hall of Famer manager of the Los Angeles Dodger, Tommy Lasorda said, there are 3 types of baseball players: those who make it happen, those that watch it happen, and those who wonder what happens. By your participation today, you are all the type that make it happen. Here come students from Paper Mill Playhouse's award-winning theater school inviting us to be their guests for the upcoming main stage production of Disney's Beauty and the Beast. The cast is at theater working hard to create all the magic you would expect from Milburn's own Tony Award-winning Playhouse. Singing teapots and candlesticks, an evil spell, and an unlikely love story, all part of the wonder of Disney's Beauty and the Beast. Don't miss out. Disney's Beauty and the Beast opens next week, and tickets are selling fast, with performances being added through July 3rd. After 109 years, the Boy Scouts of America opened their doors to females this February. This historic decision has extended the unique opportunity for young women to learn leadership under a separate unit from the boys and to pursue the coveted rank of Eagle Scout. Please join me in congratulating these young pioneers by giving them a round of applause as they begin their journey to Eagle Scout. The Milburn Short Hills Historical Society was established in 1975 and currently has over 250 supporters. Mrs. Lynn Ranieri serves as the museum curator. The Society's programs serve the public schools and scout groups by gathering oral histories and establishing an archive to preserve and catalog documents and other photographs. Since 1947, Boy Scout Troop 17, chartered by St. Rosa Lima Church in Short Hills. Next year, Troop 17 will be celebrating their 75th anniversary. Currently, the troop has over 75 active scouts, and during their history have guided over 130 young men to America's highest scouting rank, that of Eagle Scout. The troop is led by Scoutmaster Kevin Radix. This year's Memorial Day Parade Coordinator assisted Eagle Scout Ryan Cannon, also serves as the Senior Patrol Leader of Troop 17, along with Eagle Scout Shakar Gurung. Today, the troop proudly displays a 12-foot by 18-foot American flag. Founded in 2008 and with membership of 700 strong, the Milburn Short Hills Desi Club proudly represents our Asian Indian community. The Desi Club actively promotes Indian culture and values and provides a platform for Indians and others in the community with similar interests to get together to celebrate Indian festivals, Independence Day, and other important events. An average of 1,500 wildfires damage or destroy 7,000 acres of New Jersey's forests. Wildfires not only damage our woodlands, but are becoming an increasing threat. The New Jersey Forest Fire Service is responsible for protecting life and property, as well as the state's natural resources from wildfires. Please join me in thanking New Jersey Forest Fire Service Control Technician Matthew Watson and Smokey for protecting us from the dangers of forest fires. Girl Scout Service Unit 31 of Milburn Short Hills. Girl Scout Service Unit 31 is thrilled to be back marching in the Milburn Memorial Day Parade. The service unit is comprised of girls and young women from kindergarten to 12th grade from all of our township schools. The Daisies, Brownies, Juniors, Cadets, Seniors, and Ambassadors of Milburn's Girl Scout Service Unit 31 thank all of the service members and veterans and wish you all a happy Memorial Day. Joining us today is the Milburn Short Hills Lacrosse Club, representing nearly 350 families in town. The Lacrosse Club is a nonprofit organization run entirely by volunteers. From kindergarten through 8th grade, the club runs a developmental program in the early years and a competitive program in the later years. Last year, one of the club's early founders from nearly 25 years ago, Mr. Charlie Dwyer, received the Richard Ricks Unsung Hero Award from the U.S. Lacrosse Hall of Fame, North Jersey chapter. Here we have New Palumbo's Auto Repair, which is located on 238 Main Street. It's been family-run business, owned and operated by the Palumbo family since 1947. They're a complete auto repair service shop for all your vehicle make, model, and year needs. Thank you. Next up is Livingston Collision. Livingston Collision is a family-owned business serving our community for over 59 years. Livingston Collision is one of our township towing contractors. Nice truck. Essex County Sheriff's Department, providing safety and security to New Jersey's largest and busiest Superior Court vicinage and law enforcement, emergency management, and homeland security service to the Essex County community. The Newark Police Department Mounted Unit. The Mounted Unit is part of the Newark Police Department Metro Division. This division is responsible for traffic enforcement throughout the city of Newark, along with providing coverage for special events. This division is stationed in the downtown area of Newark, which encompasses Newark's main business thoroughfare, Prudential Center Arena, NJ Pack, Symphony Hall, and Riverfront Stadium. The Department of Public Works here in Milburn Township, a full-service department with 3 major divisions: shade tree and parks, roads and sewers, and vehicle maintenance. Public Works Department performs a variety of tasks to service the residents of Milburn Township, from leaf collection, storm and sanitary sewer cleaning, road repairs, and maintenance of the township's beautiful park system. Today you see RD9, the township's new sewer flusher and vacuum vehicle. And next is ST1, which assists the shade tree department in taking care of the township's nearly 8,500 shade trees. Cub Scout Pack 17 of Milburn Short Hills. Since 1947, Cub Scout Pack 17, chartered at St. Rose Lima Church in Short Hills, has helped prepare local youth for their futures by instilling the values of the Scout Oath and Scout Law. Today, the pack is led by Cubmaster Joe Smith. This past year, the Boy Scouts of America program has expanded to kindergartners and both boys and girls. Pack 17 has an active program, including 2 family campouts, monthly pack meetings, and the popular Pinewood Derby. Boy Scout Troop 15. The Boy Scout Troop 15, chartered by Christ Church in Short Hills, was chartered 93 years ago in 1926. Over those many years, the troop has helped more than 100 scouts achieve the coveted rank of Eagle Scout. Troop 15 prides itself on teaching values, leadership, and community service. Milburn Recreation Department's Girls Softball Program provides an instructional, enjoyable recreational experience for 1st through 8th grade girls and for parents who volunteer their time to coach. This program offers an opportunity for girls to play and improve their skills in softball alongside their friends in the township. The program is 175 participants strong. You may have seen them on TV, on all the major news stations. Here they are live in person. It's the Milburn High School Robotics team, who recently won the 2019 VEX Robotics World Championship, the largest robotics tournament in the world. They had a stellar season, winning 6 New Jersey tournaments and being the first team from New Jersey to ever be crowned world champion. The Milburn Short Hills 4th of July Committee is a group of township volunteers that work very hard to put on a fantastic Independence Day celebration for our community. This year, they are proud to present their 73rd annual July 4th celebration. Festivities start at 9 a.m. in Taylor Park for the flag raising and stroller parade. 3 p.m. at the high school front lawn will be the rides, live music, and food, with the fireworks starting at approximately 9:30. Come one and all and enjoy the celebration. On June 14th, 1958 at 1:30 a.m., the Milburn Short Hills Volunteer First Aid Squad answered its first call and has served the community continuously since that day. The primary purpose of the squad is to render basic life support to the Township of Milburn and to neighboring communities are required. Every squad member is qualified as an EMT. The squad provides certified instructors on site in their squad building to teach these vital courses. Let's give a great round of applause to these first responder volunteers who sacrifice their time to serve our community and save the lives of our loved ones. Founded in 1876 and today led by Chief Robert Echeverria, the Milburn Fire Department enjoys a proud legacy of service spanning 140 years. The department personnel include 47 career firefighters that operate out of 2 fire stations. They provide a trained emergency response to suppress fires, perform rescues, and clean hazardous material containment. They are committed to protecting and supporting our community through the planning, public education, and code enforcement, and are dedicated to the protection of life, property, and the environment of the greater Milburn Short Hills area.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today to honor all those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice in service to our great nation, and in addition to the celebration of the 100th anniversary of the American Legion. I am Eagle Scout Ryan Cannon from Troop 17 and have proudly served as this year's Memorial Day Parade Coordinator. I would just like to take a moment and recognize all those among us who have served or are currently serving. We are humbled by your sacrifices and we commend your courage and strength. Please give these men and women a round of applause. As Franklin Delano Roosevelt once said, those who have long enjoyed such privileges as we enjoy forget in time that men have died to win them. Today's parade and strong turnout signals that we will not forget the past. It always gives me hope of a promising future. I now request your silence as we pay respects to our great nation. Honor Guard, please present the colors.
Honor Guard, forward, march!
I'd now like to call up Cub Scout and Girl Scout Leah McKenna to the podium to recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in facing the flag. Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Leah. Please remain in attention as Milburn High School sophomore Lauren Updike sings her rendition of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars the rule the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Lauren, and the Milburn Fire Department and Police Department's Honor Guard. I would now like to introduce Father Chris from St. Rose of Lima to deliver today's invocation.
Let us pray. O God, we have come together today for a solemn time of remembering. Be close to us here as we join communities from the coast to coast and military personnel stationed all over the world to reverently acknowledge the self-sacrificing dedication of many American men and women who have died in war. We are offering these brave heroes and patriots our tribute and our thanks. We are honoring them by pledging them all that we will never forget them. Many from Milburn have gone to war, served valiantly on land, on the seas, and in the air, and some have not returned. These valiant Americans we salute as we commend each of them, Father, to your heavenly care. For their families, too, we offer our prayers today in military ceremonies as symbols of our gratitude to them for their sacrificing. As we march, salute, make speeches, sing our anthem, pledge allegiance to our flag, and respectfully listen to trumpeters play taps, we remember our heroes from previous wars and police actions in distant parts of the world. So through our rituals, we also thank all those who are now actively on duty, deployed, defending freedom and democracy. Some are in lands and on the seas far distant from here, and some others are serving closer to home, keeping our ports, bridges, public buildings, utilities, and even our homes safe from attack. We acknowledge their service, their sacrifice, and the sorrows of their loved ones who miss them dearly. So let us pray. Oh God, keep all of them safe. Keep us ever grateful. Keep America dedicated to freedom and democracy so that our heroes will not have died in vain, but will have given us forever examples of courage and inspirations to follow. Listen to us, O God. Hear our prayers. Empower our celebrations as we strive to bring peace with justice to all your people everywhere in the world, and to never forget those who returned to home, their home with you. Amen.
Thank you, Father Chris. Now, with great honor, I would like to introduce Congressman Tom Malinowski.
Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us on this beautiful, beautiful day. And let's have a big, big round of applause for the men and women of the U.S. Navy who volunteered to walk with us today. And especially for Third Officer Kevin Ruin, who's from Milburn. It is always such an honor for me to be in the company of Americans who served our country in far-off lands and to remember alongside you all those who did not come back. I was lucky to have been born in a family for which service was a calling. My stepfather, who raised me here in New Jersey, served in Patton's army in World War II. My grandfather on my mom's side fought the Nazis for the Polish army when they invaded Poland in 1939. They were both citizen soldiers, like so many of the Americans who serve in our armed forces today. Their only qualification for combat was a desire to do the right thing. My dad had to lie about his childhood polio, which left him unable to run, just to get in the Army. My grandfather was a lawyer who was almost 40 years old when he volunteered. My dad didn't talk a lot about his service. He didn't feel that he needed to be thanked, although he deserved to be thanked. My grandfather never had a chance to tell his stories because he didn't come back. He was killed a few weeks after joining on the front lines. I wouldn't be here if not for them. I wouldn't be here if not for the example they set. None of us would be here. Our great country, a democracy at peace, would not be here if not for the generation after generation after generation that rose to defend it, not just with their skill and their bravery, but with the qualities that make American fighting men and women different from our enemies. Their character, their sense of honor, their decency, their commitment to fight in the right way. And for all of that, we owe them so much. We have to keep our promises to the 20 million Americans who are veterans, to the 2 million service members and reservists and their families. Keep our promise for better health care, for education, for job training, for the employment opportunities that they earned so many times over. And I'm happy to say that the U.S. Congress, for all of our problems, for all of our gridlock and partisanship right now, this is one issue we are acting on together. Just the day before yesterday, I was proud to vote with my Democratic and Republican colleagues for a bill that got rid of a provision in last year's tax bill that unfairly burdened Gold Star families in America. At least we got that done last week. But most of all, if you're serving today, if you served in the past, what we owe you is a country that is worthy of your service, that is worthy of your sacrifice. Now, there is, in West Point, the military academy, my apologies to the Navy folks, there is something called the Cadets Prayer, and there's a plaque in West Point where it's posted. And among other things, the prayer says, "Make us choose the harder right instead of the easier wrong, and never to be content with a half-truth where the whole can be won." Those words have a lot to say, not just to those who are in uniform. They have a lot to say to all of us today in these troubled times. Those words put all of us to shame when we fall short, whether as citizens or as leaders. So, let it be said that we live the ideals as individual Americans and as a country, that we live the ideals that these brave men and women fought for and continue to fight for, that we live up to their example of service, their example of putting others before ourselves. Let that be our commitment in these troubled times. Thank you all so very much again. May God bless you. May God bless this wonderful country.
Thank you, Mr. Malinowski, for taking the time to join us today, as we know you have a very busy schedule. I would now like to introduce our mayor, Mrs. Diane Eglau.
Welcome. Thank you, Congressman Malinowski, for joining Milburn Township today for our Memorial Day Parade. It's always an honor to have you here. I want to thank everyone for coming out on this absolutely beautiful morning to celebrate Memorial Day. Memorial Day has come to symbolize the unofficial start of our summer season. But we must remember that Memorial Day is about honoring the brave people who died while serving in the United States Armed Forces. Many people visit and decorate cemeteries with flowers and proudly display our nation's flag on this weekend. Cities and towns all over America hold parades, which are a wonderful way to bring our community together. Today we had over 25 groups marching and representing our township. So there are many people who work incredibly hard to make this happen. I want to thank everyone in Town Hall, especially our Township Administrator, Alex McDonald, who worked for weeks to pull this off. So thank you, Alex. I want to thank Deputy Mayor Jackie Benjamin Lieberberg for marching along with us, and the entire Department of Public Works, Robert Brown, the commander of our local American Legion, Maggie Miggins, who brought this idea to the township and really made sure we pushed it forward. Thank you, Maggie. So please join me in a huge round of applause to thank everyone, and especially a huge shout out to Milburn's Memorial Day Parade Committee. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Eglow, for partnering with the American Legion to make today a reality. It's my distinct honor to introduce the commander of the American Legion Post 140, Mr. Burt Brown.
I'm going to need a lower stage next time. Barely got up there. Morning. As you know, the American Legion celebrates 100-year anniversary this year. And what better way than with one of the biggest Memorial Day parades Milburn has hosted in recent memory. And although people have been thanked, I want to thank them as well. I want to recognize some of the individuals and groups that were on the committee that made this happen. The American Legion ran this parade for the last 20, 30 years. And I promise you this parade would not have happened again as it didn't last year if it wasn't for the town administrator pushing through, Alex McDonald. Thank you, Alex. He was my first call last year after we didn't have a parade, saying, what can we do so that never happens again? On the committee was also the Milburn Police Department, the Milburn Fire Department, Milburn Public Works, members of the Legion, as well as Boy Scouts under the leadership of Eagle Scout Ryan Cannon, Eagle Scout Jamie Ceruto, and Scout Colin Warros. We also had lead volunteers, Milburn residents, Annette DiPasquale Romano and Maggie Miggins. It should also be noted, and she didn't do it so it would be noted, Maggie Miggins and the Miggins Realty Group sponsored the beautiful flags you see downtown, lining Milburn Avenue and Main Street in the parade route, and they'll be up at least twice a year. Appreciate that to the Miggins Realty Group. As you marched or as you viewed, you may have seen some new banners by Town Hall. That's an Eagle Scout project. There's 8 banners there now, and there's 40 more planned. These honor our local veterans, hometown men and women, who served our country so proudly. This is a Eagle Scout project of Colin Warros. He's here today. He's at a table. Colin's right there at the table waving. If you're a veteran or know a veteran in the Milburn Short Hills area that you think would like to be honored or should be honored on one of those banners, Colin is there today getting names and information, contact info. We'd love to have you or your loved ones up on one of the banners. I also want to speak of some of my fellow armed services people here today. Please give a big applause to the men and women of the United States Navy and to the officers from the United States Naval Ship Burlington. These Navy sailors are led by Milburn Township resident Commander Jonathan Sim, and as spoken before, Milburn Township resident 3rd Mate Kevin Ruane. These officers and sailors are attached to the Military Sea Lift Command headquarters in Norfolk, Virginia. The mission of the Military Sea Lift Command is to provide combat logistics support around the world to the U.S. Naval Fleet and partner forces. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here today. Just before Election Day in 2018, an American soldier in Afghanistan posted on Facebook. He wrote, and I quote, "As the USA gets ready to vote in our own election Tuesday, I hope everyone back home exercises their precious right to vote. And whether the Republican or the Democrats win, that we all remember that we have far more as Americans that unites us than divides us. United we stand, divided we fall. God bless America," end of quote. The soldier who posted this quote was a member of the National Guard serving in Afghanistan. It mattered very little that he was also the mayor of North Ogden, Utah. When Election Day arrived in Utah, so did the honor guard accompanying his remains. The flag-draped casket of Major Brent Taylor, husband of 1, father of 7, inspiration of millions, was brought to his hometown and laid to rest. He was a veteran of 2 tours in Iraq. Major Taylor was killed when a cowardly member of the Afghan National Security Forces opened fire on him during an insider attack in Kabul. Major Taylor did not need to serve in the military. Like all U.S. veterans of the global war on terrorism, he chose to serve in the military. On June 6th this year, the world will observe the 75th anniversary of the Normandy Invasion. As they say, they fought on that beach so we can go to our beaches. American Legion Commander Brent will lead a delegation to the sandy shores of France, paying respects to the thousands of Allied heroes who gave their lives to liberate a continent. Labels that we hurl today, like Democrat, Republican, red state, blue state, matter little when facing mines and machine guns charging a beach. Politics are irrelevant to the family that hears the dreaded words, we regret to inform you. We continue to lose heroes every day in places like Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, and in military training accidents and missions around the world. From the American Revolution to our current operations against terrorism, 1 million American men and women have made the supreme sacrifice while fighting in wars and conflicts. We honor all of them, not just those with the highest medals or the heroes who fought in the most famous battles. They all died so we can continue to cherish what we love: freedom, country, and family. This is why we gathered here on Memorial Day, to honor the memory of our fallen warriors who have given everything to their country. We are also reminded on this day that in each generation, brave men and women will always step forward to take the oath of allegiance as members of America's armed forces, willing to fight and, if necessary, die for the sake of freedom. As Legionnaires, we are pledged through our preamble of our organization's constitution to preserve the memories and incidents of our associations in great wars. This solemn promise is on the back of each American Legion membership card. Yet we do not remember our fallen brothers and sisters because of an obligatory ritual. We do so because we want to, and it is just. And we want to be there for their families long after the battlefield guns have been silenced and the bombs stopped exploding. The children of the fallen warriors will still be missing a parent. The spouses continue to miss their life partners. Parents will never stop grieving for their heroic sons and daughters that died way too early. We need to be there for all of them. Nobody can replace these fallen heroes, especially in the eyes of their families, but we can offer shoulders to cry on and assurances that their loved ones' sacrifice will not be forgotten. As Americans, we should all remember that freedom isn't free. It's only possible because of our fallen heroes have paid its highest price, a price paid which enables us to have ceremonies and observances like this in the communities across our great country. Major Brent Taylor called on us to be unified. When we consider the sacrifice that he and his brothers and sisters in arms made for us, it is the least that we can do for them. God bless you all, God bless America, and God bless our fallen heroes. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of the township, I would like to thank you, Commander Brown, for your service and dedication to our nation, and thank the veterans of this community. I also want to thank the members of the Milburn Township Memorial Day Committee for working together to ensure that the sacrifices made by our nation's finest and bravest never go unappreciated, and that their memories are never forgotten. Please salute as Troop 17 Eagle Scout Stefan Culp plays taps. Stefan. Lastly, I want to thank you all for joining us today in today's tribute. I hope you keep our military men and women and the sacrifices they made close to your hearts today and throughout the rest of the year. Thank you.